Good evening. Welcome to Underrated Sports Show. Underrated Darkness, that's my channel. My co-host, she stays sleep. You will hear from him in a few. We got a special one. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna read about a special um soccer legend, Pele. But first, let me get these announcements out the way. Um, every Monday we do the sports show. Me and my co-host, she stays sleep. 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern time every Monday. Support my brother's channel. She stay sleep. Share this stream. We very much appreciate it all through our social media and the others that I have in the past that I did video. I can't answer that. The video. Hold on, people. Hello?
JT.
Yeah, I'm doing a sports show now.
Oh, you on that app?
Yeah, that's all. You can get on.
I'll text you in a minute. I'll text you.
Got you. All right. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, family. Like I said, you can share and get the views up on my past live streams and videos that I have on the channel. Get that off. You want to know more about me? Yours truly, Jerry Thomas. Facebook page, Jerry Thomas. Facebook group, all in caps, JT MVP. Thank you for ourselves. Twitter, also 8 caps at JT Blackman44. Instagram, the Underrated Darkness, lower caps, the same name that you see on my channel. Right? So before I continue, what's going on, my brother? How you feel?
Peace. Shout out to everybody. I'm alright, bro. Just gotta, do a little running around again tonight for rest of the holiday and shit. But what's going on with you, bro? How was your day?
My day is okay. We're gonna read about soccer legend Pele. Maybe some people in our community know about it, but this is extraordinary brother
Okay.
that he broke a lot of barriers around the world, us as a people. Um
Now,
so
did he play? Like American soccer, or did he play like overseas type soccer?
he played both.
Play both. Okay.
He played
Gotcha.
he played both. He started to become really accepted, and he was always accepted in America, but he really started making this mark like towards the mid 70s. And I'm gonna talk about that because when I was looking at it, it seems like they don't save. So I gotta most likely I might have to put my own in it because I know a little bit about I know certain things about him. So brothers and sisters, sit back, relax. Um, I'm glad everybody here. So let me see. All right, so we usually wait to some people to get in, but we're gonna read about the story now about Pele. And the ones who comes after, I don't know, it's gonna be panel discussion. I don't know, depends. Okay, here we go. His real name is Edison Arantes do Nascimento. Brazilian Portuguese, born October 23rd, 1940, better known as Pele, is a Brazilian retired professional football, better known as soccer, who played as a forward. He regarded many in the sport, including football players, football writers, players, and fans, as the greatest player of all time. In 1999, he was voted World Player of the Century by International Federation of Football History and Statistics. Also, that stands for soccer. Um, and was one of the two joint winners of FIFA Player of the Century award. That same year, Pele was elected Athlete of the Century by International Olympic Committee according to IFFHS. Pele is the most successful league goal scorer of the world. Scored 1,281 goals in 1,363 games, which includes unofficial friendlies and tour games. During his playing days, Pele was the period of the best paid athlete of the world. Pele began playing for Santos at the age of 15 and the Brazil national team at 16. During his international career, he won 3 FIFA World Cups, 1958, 62, and 70. That's better known as Olympics. Being the only player to ever do so, Pele is the all-time leading goal scorer for Brazil with 77 goals in 92 games. At club level, he is the record goal scorer for Santos and led them to the 1962 and 63 Copa Libertadores, known as connecting the phrase "the beautiful game" with football. Again, that's soccer. Pele electrified play and present for spectacular goals, made him a star around the world, and his team toured internationally in order to take full advantage of his popularity. Since retiring in 1977, Pele has been worldwide ambassador for football and made many active commercial ventures. In 2010, he was named honorable president of the New York Cosmos. Averaged almost a goal per game throughout his career, Pele was adept at striking the ball with either foot in addition to anticipate his opponent movement on the field. While predominantly a striker, he could also drop deep and take on a playmaker role, providing assists with his vision and passing ability, and he would also use his dribbling skills to go past opponents. In Brazil, he is halted as a national hero for his accomplishments in football and for his outspoken support of policies that improve social conditions of the poor. Throughout his career and his retirement, Pele received several individual and team awards for his performance in the field, his record-breaking achievement, and legacy for the sport. Like I say, he's born in 1940, born John Ramos and Shalise Arantes. He was elder of 2 siblings. He was named the American inventor. He was named after American inventor Thomas Edison. His parents decided to remove the I and call him Edison. But there was a mistake on the birth certificate that lead many documents to show his name Edison, not Edison, as he called. He was originally nicknamed Geico by his family. He received the nickname Pele during his school days, when it is claimed to be given because of his pronunciation of the name of his favorite player, Vasco da Gama, goalkeeper Pele, was misspoken, but the more he complained, the more it sucks. Wow. In his autobiography, Pele states that he had no idea what the name means, nor his old friends. A part of his exhaustion that the name had derived that of Bell, and that is, I'm sorry, and that it is Hebrew for miracle. The word has no known meaning in Portuguese. Pele grew up in probably a Batron, the state of Sao Paulo. He earned extra money by working tea shops as a servant, taught play by his father. He could not afford a proper football, but usually the soccer ball, as usually played with either sock stuffed with newspaper and tied with a string or a grapefruit. He played for several amateur teams in his youth, including Sandy Cebro, Canty Rio, Sapaniho, and Ameriquica. Pele led Baru Athletic Club Juniors, coached by Waldemar de Brito, to two Sao Paulo State Youth Championships. In his mid-teens, he played for an indoor football team for Rado. Indoor football had just become popular in Burma when Pele began playing it. He was part of the first Football de Saldo indoor football, competitive in the region. Pele and his team won the first championship and several others. According to Pele, indoor football presents difficult challenge. He said a lot quicker than football. On the grass that he played were required to think fast because everyone is close to each other in the pitch. Pele credited indoor football for helping him think better on the spot. In addition, indoors football allowed him to play with adults. He was about 14 years old. In one of the tournaments he participated, he initially considered to be young to play, but eventually went up to end up top scorer with 14 or 15 goals. That gave me a lot of confidence, Pele said. I knew then not to be afraid or whatever might come. In 1956, De Brito took Pele to Santos, an industrial or port city located near Sao Paulo, to try out professional club Santos FC. Tell the directors of Santos that the 15-year-old would be greatest football player in the world. Pele impressed Santos coach Luda during his trials of Extra Vela Belmino, as he signed a professional contract with the club in June 1956. Pele was highly promoted in the local media as a future superstar. He made his senior team debut on September 1956 at the age 15 against Corinthians Santos. Andre had an impressive performance in the 7-1 victory, scoring the first goal of his prolific career during the match. When the 1957 season starts, Pele was given a starting place in the first team, and at the age of 16 became top scorer in the league. 10 months after he signed professionally, the teenager was called up to the Brazil national team. After the 1958 and the 1962 World Cup, wealthy European clubs such as the Real Madrid, I'm gonna say this, they be on TV. All right, Juventus, that also, and Manchester United, and those three teams, I'm saying they in overseas they consider them powerhouses of soccer internationally. You need to throw that in. Tried to sign him in vain. In 1958, International Milan even managed to get him a regular contract, but Angelo Motta was forced to tear down following the attack suffering the chairman of Santos by a Brazilian fan. However, in 1961, government of Brazil under President Genito Quadros declared Pele an official national treasure to prevent him from being transferred out to the country. Pele won his first major title with Santos in 1958 and won the Campeonato Paulista. Pele will finish the tournament as top scorer with 58 goals, a record that stands today. A year later, he will help the team earn a first victory over the Torino Racing Palo with a 3-zip over Vasco da Gama. However, Santos was unable to retain Paul's title. In 1960, Pele scored 33 goals to help his team to regain the Campeonato Paulista trophy, but lost out on a Rio Santos Poli tournament after finishing in 8th place. In 1960 season, Pele scored 47 goals, helped Santos to regain the Campeonato Paulista. The club went on to win the Taça Brazil at the same year, beating Bahana in the finals. Pele finished top scorer of the tournament with 9 goals. The victory allowed Santos to participate in the Copa Libertadores, the most prestigious club tournament in Western Hemisphere. Santos' most successful Copa Libertadores season started in 1962. The team seed in Group 1 alongside with Carino Patino and Deportivo Municipal Bolivar, winning every match of their group by 1-1 away tie versus Sereno. Santos defeated Universidad Católica in the semifinals and met defending champions Perno in the finals. Pele scored twice in the playoff match to secure his first title for a Brazil club. Pele finished as the second top scorer of the competition with 4 goals. That same year, Santos was successfully defending Campeonato Brasileiro with 37 goals from Pele, and Taça Brazil, Pele scored 4 goals in the final series against Botafogo. Santos would also win the 1962 International Cup against Benfica, wearing his number 10 shirt. Pele produced one of the best performances of his career, scoring a hat trick in Lisbon as Santos won 5-2. As defending champions, Santos qualified automatically for the semi-final stage of the 1963 Copa Libertadores. The Baile Bianco, name given to Santos for Pele, managed to retain the title after victories over Botafogo and Boca Juniors. Pele helped Santos overcome Botafogo team that contained Brazilian legends such as Garrincha, excuse me, and Jairzinho, with a last-minute goal in the first leg of the semifinals, which made 1-1 in the second leg. Pele scored a hat trick, the Astra do Messina, Ricardo, as Santos won 0-4 in the second leg. Santos started the final series, winning 3-2 the first leg, and defeated Boca Juniors 1-2 in La Bonaire. Excuse me. It was a rare feat in official competition with another goal with Pele. Santos became first and to date the only Brazilian team to lift the Copa Libertadores in Argentine soil. Pele finished the tournament with 5 goals. Santos lost the Campeonato Paulista after finishing in 3rd place, but went on to win the Rio Polo tournament after a 0-3 win over Flamengo in the finals, where Pele scored one goal. Pele will also help Santos to retain the Intercontinental Cup at the Taka Bazaar against Milan and Baja respectively. In 1964 Copa Libertadores, Santos was beaten by both legs of the semifinals by Independiente. The club won the Campeonato Paulista with Pele netted 34 goals. Santos also shared with the Rio Santo Paulo title with Botafogo and won the Taco Brazil for the fourth consecutive year. In the 1965 Copa Libertadores, Libertadores, Santos reached the semifinals and met Parano in a rematch of the 1962 finals. After two matches, a playoff was needed to break the tie. Unlikely, 1962, Parano came out on top to eliminate Santos 2-1. Pele would, however, finish as the top scorer of the tournament with 8 goals. This proved to be the start to decline as Santos failed to retain the tournament Rio Sao Paulo. In 1966, Pele and Santos also failed to retain the Taco Brazil. Pele goals was not enough to prevent a 9-4 defeat of Cruzeiro, led by Tassano, in the final series. The club did not, however, win the Campeonato Paulista 1967, 1968, and 1969. And on 19th November 1969, Pele scored his 1,000th goal in all completions in what was highly anticipated the moment in Brazil. The goal, popularly dubbed O Marcelo 1000, occurred in the match against Vasco da Gama when Pele scored from a penalty kick at the Marcelo Stadium. Pele states that his most memorable goal was at Rio Jairo Stadium on a Campeonato Paulista match against San Paulo rival club Anzilo Juveniles on 2nd August 1959. There is no video footage on that match. Pele asked that computer animation be made at the specific goal. In March 1961, Pele scored the goal, the Ga de Pasca goal worthy as a flag against Fluminense at the Maracanã. Pele received the ball on the edge of his own penalty area and ran the length of the field, including opposing players with feints, before strike the ball beyond goalkeeper. A flag was commissioned with the dedication to the most beautiful goal in history of the Maracanã. In 1967, two factors involved with the Nigerian Civil War agreed with a 48-hour ceasefire so they could watch Pele play on the exhibition game in Lagos. During his time in Santos, Pele played alongside with many gifted players, including Santos, Pepe, and Coutinho. The latter partnering him in numerous of 1-2 play attacks and goals. After the 1974 season, his 19th with Santos, Pele retired from Brazilian club football. Along, he continued occasionally to play Santos in official competitive matches. 2 years later, he came out of retirement to sign with the New York Cosmos of the North American Soccer League. That stands for NASL. Hold on, fam, let me get this off. Okay. for 1975 season. Thought well past, let me read it again. Thought well past his prime. At this point, Pele was credited for his significant increase in public awareness, interest of the sport in the United States, hoping to fuel the same kind of awareness in the Dominican Republic. He and the Cosmos team played exhibition match against Haitian team Valet AC in the um, San Domingo's Olympic Stadium on 3rd June 1976, where over 25,000 fans watched him score a winning goal in the last second of the match, leading the Cosmos to a 2-1 victory. He led Cosmos to 1977 NASL championship in his third final season with the club. And at that time, people of that league, the Cosmos dominated. It was led by the legendary Pele. Need to throw that in. Santos arrived in New York after previously defeating the Seattle Sounders in New Jersey 2-0. The match was played in front of sold-out crowd in Giant Stadium and was televised in the United States on ABC's Wide World Sports, as well as throughout the world. Pele's father and wife both attended the match, as well as Muhammad Ali and Bobby Moore. International career. Pele's first international match was 2-1 to defeat Argentina on 7th July 1957 on Maracas. That match, he scored first goal for Brazil at age 16 and 9 months. He remained the youngest goalkeeper for his country. Pele arrived in Sweden sidelined by a knee injury, but his return for the treatment room. His colleagues stood together and insist upon his selection. His first match was against USSR, that stands for Russia, in the third match of the first round of the 1958 FIFA World Cup, where he gave his assist to Vaba's second goal. He was the youngest player of that tournament, and at the time the youngest ever to play in the World Cup. Against France in the semifinal. Brazil was leading 2-1 at halftime. Then Pele scored a hat trick, become the youngest in World Cup history to do so. On 29th June 1958, Pele became the youngest player to play in a World Cup match at 17 years and 249 days. He scored 2 goals that final as Brazil beat Sweden 5-2 in Stockholm, the capital. His first goal, where he flicked the ball over his defender before volleying into the corner to the net, was select one of the best goals in the history of World Cup. Following Pele's second goal, Swedish players Sevar Parna will later comment when Pele scored fifth goal in the final. I have to be honest and say I felt like applauding. When the match ended, Pele passed out on the field and it was received by Garcia. Another soccer legend. Then he recovered, was compelling by the victory to weep. He was being congratulated by his teammates. He finished the tournament with 6 goals in 4 matches played, tied for second place behind record-breaking Just Fontaine, and was named the best young player of the tournament. And it was 1958 World Cup that Pele began wearing a jersey number 10. The event was a result of disorganization. The leaders of the Brazil Federation did not send shirt numbers of players, and it was up to FIFA to choose a number 10 shirt to Pele, who was substitute on that occasion. The press proclaimed Pele the greatest revelation of the 1958 World Cup and he was also reactively given the silver ball as the second best player in the tournament. Behind Diddle. South American Championship. Pele also played the South African American Championship in the 1959 competition. He was named the best player in the tournament and was top scorer, 8 goals, as Brazil came second despite being unbeaten of the tournament. He scored in five Brazil 6 games, including 2 goals against Chile and a hat trick against Paraguay. 1962. When the 1962 World Cup started, Pele was best player in the world. In the first match of the 1962 World Cup in Chile against Mexico, Pele assists the first goal, then scores second one at the run of four past four defenders to go up 2-zip. He injured himself in the next game while attempting a long range shot against Czechoslovakia. That would keep him out the rest of the tournament and force coach Amon Mari to make his only lineup change in the tournament. The substitution was Mario, who performed well for the rest of the tournament. However, it was Garica would take the leading role and carry Brazil to the second World Cup after beating Czechoslovakia at the finals. Santiago. The 1966 World Cup, Pele was the most famous football in the world during the 1966 World Cup in England and Brazil, fielding some world champions like Gabriel Guilherme Deja Santos, with the addition of other stars Jazizo, Tota, and Gershon, leading to high expectations for them. Brazil was eliminated the first round, played only 3 matches. The World Cup was marked, among other things, for brutal fouls on Pele that left him injured by Bulgarian and Portuguese defenders. Pele scored the first goal from a free kick against Bulgaria, become the first player to score in 3 successive FIFA World Cups, but due to his injuries and results of persistent fouling by the Bulgarians, he missed second game against Hungary. Brazil lost that game, and Pele, although still recovering, was brought back the last crucial match against Portugal at the Garrison Park in Liverpool, that's in England, by the Brazil coach Vincent Falon. Falon changed the entire defense, including the goalkeeper, while in midfield he returned the format of the first match during the game. Portugal defender Jorge Amaro fouled Pele, but was not sent off by referee Jorge McCabe, a decision respectively viewed as being among the worst referee errors in World Cup history. Pele had to stay on the field limping for the rest of the game, since substitute was not allowed the game. At this game, he vowed that he would never play in the World Cup. A decision he would later change. 1970 Cup, Pele was called the national team in early 1970. He refused at first, but he accepted, but playing the 6 World Cup qualifying matches, scored 6 goals. The 1970 World Cup in Mexico was expected to be Pele's last. Brazil squad for the tournament featured major changes in relations of the 1966 squad. Played like Gabriel, Nito Santos, Vale Perry, DeCarlo Santos, and Gilmore had already retired. However, Brazil 1970 World Cup squad, which includes players like Pele, Ravino, Jairzinho, Gerson, Carlos Alberto, Torres, Tasso, and Claudino, is also considered to be one of the greatest football players in history. The front of Jasa, Pele Johnson, Tasso, Ravino together created an attack momentum which would Pele have a central role in Brazil way to the finals. All Brazil matches in the tournament except the finals were played in Guayaquil, and in the first match against Czechoslovakia, Pele gave a Brazil 2-1 lead by controlling Gersha long pass with his chest, then scored. This match, Pele attempts to lob goalkeeper Ivo Vicom from the halfway line or a narrow missing the Czechoslovakia goal. Brazil went to win the match 4-1 in the first of matches against England. Pele nearly scored with a head that was saved by England goalkeeper Gordon Banks. In the second half, he controlled a cross for Ticino before flicked the ball by Giacchino, who scored the only goal. Against Firmino, Pele scored 2 goals with the Brazil winning a final goal 3-2, and in quarterfinals against Peru, Brazil won 4-2 with Pele assisted Ticino for Brazil's third goal in semi-finals. Brazil faced Uganda for the first time since the 1950 World Cup final round match. Ticino put Brazil 2-1, and Pele assisted Marino for 3-1. During that match, Pele made one of his most famous plays. Ticino passed the ball to Pele to collect while Uganda goalkeeper Laceno Marchovicius took notice and ran his line to get the ball before Pele. However, Pele got there first and full manicurist with a feint but not touched by the ball, caused it to roll to the goalkeeper left, while Pele went to the goalkeeper right. Pele ran around the goalkeeper to revive the ball and took a shot while turning towards the goal. But he turned an excuse. He turned it to SS as a shot, and the ball drifted just wide far post. Brazil played Italy in the final at Aztec Stadium in Mexico City. Pele scored opening goal, had our jump Italian defender Dotterberg Brazilian 100th World Cup goal. Pele leaped with joy into arms with teammate Johnson in celebrating the goal, regarding one of the most ironic moments in World Cup history. He then made assists on the Brazilian third goal, scored by Zeno, and the fourth finished by Carlos Alberto. The last goal of the game was also considered the greatest team of all time because it involves all but 2 of the team outfield players. The play culminated after Pele made a blind pass, went into Carlos Alberto running trajectory. He came running from behind and struck the ball to score. Brazil won the match 4-1, kept the Julius Ryman Trophy indefinitely, and Pele received the Golden Ball as a player of the tournament. Berkridge, who marked Pele during his final, was quote saying, "I told myself before the game, he made up skin of bones. He made skin and bones, just like everyone else. I was wrong." Pele's last international match was 18th July 1971 against Yugoslavia in Rio de Janeiro, with Pele on the field with the Brazilian team would record was 67 wins, 14 draws, and 11 losses. Brazil never lost a match while fielding with Pele and Garrincha. I'm just gonna power go through it. Pele took. Oh, they told me he connected with the most beautiful game. Um, Thought about he was a hard worker. Always set up people all around. But in his early days, he played attacking position. I'm just power reading it and everything because still a lot. and exit techniques and stuff like that. So historical the feints and stuff like that. Okay, reception and legacy. Um, I can see a lot of people like telling him how great he was and everything. And so told him 20 years and stuff like that. I'm just power reading this. So okay, since retiring, Perry has continued. Um, he Since retiring, Pele had continued to be loved by players, coaches, journalists of the Brazilian active midfielder who represented Brazil 1988 to 86. And finally, work out that this debate for player century is assured. Goes sold on the late great Nelson Mandela has praised him to watch him play. His delight as a child, combined as noted greats and men of full. U.S. politics and political scientist Harry Kissinger stated, performance highest level in any sport, the honest of human scale. Pele performed transcended to this ordinary human scale, performed transcended as ordinary star, much star proceed and stop. Okay. I just power reading it, family, because there's a lot. So I don't, I don't want to put y'all to sleep. In 1999, the International Federation of Football History Statistics voted Pele world greatest player of the century. That same year, the International Olympic Committee elected him the athlete of the century. Okay, I gotta read this part. According to IFF, HS Pele was most successful league with goal scoring 1,281 goals in 1,363 games, which include unofficial friendly tour game 1999. Time magazine named Pele one of the 100 most important people in the 20th century during his playing days. Pele was the highest paid athlete in the world. Um, Electrifying, scoring spectacular goals, full advantage, popular intel. Okay. During his career, he better known as the Black Pearl, A Pearl Negra, King of Football, or Real Football, the King Pele, simply the King. The city of Santos inaugurated a Pele Museum. We played 2,400 pieces of collected play memorabilia. Approximately 22 million was invested in the construction of the museum, housed in the 19th century mansion. Okay. She was children. Francis Machado Sandra, 1964 to 2006. Violeta Curtis, born 1968. By Rosa D. Chuba, Kelly D. Creek Houston, 1967. Edson, 1970. Jennifer, born 1978. By Sarah Lemon Sessions. Joshua, born 1996. Shalice, born 1960. This way must be twins. Okay. Pele had married 3 times and had several affairs. Yeah, he was a wild boy. Producing several children. February 96, Perry married wasn't divorced. They had 2 daughters, one son, Kelly. Okay, I read all that. Okay, I read all that. Okay. The couple divorced in 1992. In May 2004, Eden was jailed for 33 years for laundering money from drug trafficking. On on appeal, the sentence was reduced 12 years, 10 months. 1981, 8 through 86, it was romantically linked, but he presented USA, which had influenced to launch her career. She was 17 when she started dating. In April 1994, Pele married Francescus and gospel singer Asuri Limited Search gave birth on 28 September 96 to twin Joshua and Shalice. Through fraternity treatment, the couple divorced 2008. Let's see, Pele had at least 2 more children. Affair. Born Sandra Machado was born. An affair with Pele had in 1964 with housemate. Damn. Machado fought for years to be announced for Pele by Pele, who refused to submit DNA testing, although she was recognized, of course, by his biological daughter based on DNA evidence in 1993. Pele never acknowledged his eldest daughter even after her death. Wow. In 2006, nor her two children, Octavia and Gabriel. Pele also had another daughter, Flavor Curtin, an extramarital affair in 1968 with journalist Lita Curtin. Flavor was recognized by him, his daughter. At age 73, Pele announced his intentions to marry 41-year-old Margaret Akoda, a Japanese Brazilian import of medical equipment from Sao who he had been dating from 2010. They first met at the mid 1980s in New York before meeting again in 2008. They married in July 2016. Pele was investigated by Brazilian military officials suspecting leftist sympathy. Disclassified documents show Pele was investigated by Handed Manifesto, calling for the release of political prisoners. Pele himself did not get further involvement with any political struggles in the country. In '76, Pele was on a Pepsi sponsored trip in Lagos, Nigeria. That year, attempt military coup that took place. Pele was trapped in a hotel together with Alta and other tentacles were participating in an interrupt lightsaber Lagos WCT tournament. Pele and his crew eventually left the hotel, staying in the residence of Brazil ambassador as they could leave the country for a couple of days. Later, the airport was open and Pele left the country, discussed as a pilot. In June 2017, was criticized opinion of his conservative views. During the 2013 protests in Brazil, Pele asked for people to forget the demonstrations and support Brazil national team. Wow, that's something like when Joe Louis was saying the same thing up there along the lines back in the '60s, and Jesse Owens. They throw that in. In '77, Brazil took media report that Pele had a right kidney removed. In November 2012, Pele underwent successful hip operation. In December 2017, Pele appeared in a wheelchair in 2018 World Cup draw in Moscow, where he pitched as a Russian President Vladimir Putin. Ugh. And Daniel Montalban. A month later, he collapsed from exhaustion and was taken to the hospital. And also, he helped win consecutive championships with the Cosmos. All right. And this is very big because at that time, American soccer was not really big, and they need somebody to really to a bastard, show the way a bastard. So he was like the ambassador of American soccer. Actually, I'm not saying soccer it was not good at the time, but it was not put up there for global. So I need to throw that in. Okay, I'm about finished, my brother. All right, how do you feel about the story?
Well, it was a long story, and it was
Mm,
it was it was pretty interesting, bro. I'm not really big on soccer like that, but I was just more impressed on his accomplishments and the things that he's done. Because one thing I do understand about sports and like third world countries and overseas and shit like that, sports is a very big thing. So
mm,
I do salute him for being as great as he was coming from where he's from. So
mm.
I salute him for that, man. But like I said, I'm not really big on soccer too much.
Yeah,
So
I
that's all
picked.
I gotta say about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, I picked him because he was one of the few men, black men. around, of this in the world that accomplished everything, and despite that, what he's doing, they hurt him. They trying to really take him out, and he always bounced back. And I consider them that, there's some people that he influential of the 20th century that needs to be debate and stuff like that. What I get from it, that the people of Brazil, they just wish that he would take us a strong political beliefs and stuff instead of conservative and stuff. And and I feel that's something that we need to think about. So I wanted people to know about Pele, that despite he has ups and downs, he did, but at the same time, he is a person that, I know they're gonna talk about America. Oh, he did that. No, and I'm gonna tell you, when he played for the Major League Soccer back in the '70s, it was not known. So Pele was playing. You gotta understand, when you play exhibition, and plus at the same time you play with the team and play for the championship. That's hard. And you got to understand, at that time, he was at his twilight, his career, you know, and also he was winning more cups. He was winning. And so I just want to salute just told, yeah, Poetic Cows. Yeah, that was a long story. It was really what could have been longer. I just was at the time I would just have to skip through it. I had to really skip through it because it was a long story. Also, so I'm saying this is a and also I'm gonna throw this in too, that Pele will also um instrumental to start a indoor soccer league in America too. There's a let me pull this up. I'm pull this team up. How many people sending me this off of here? Salute to everybody in the chat. This is New York Arrows. New York Arrows was among the indoor soccer team that played in the original major indoor soccer league from same age 74. They won first four MISL championships. They played in Long Island. That's the same place that the New York Islanders play. That's deep. Now when I'm talking about 78, this is the time that the New York Islanders was one consecutive Stanley Cups back in the end of the 70s, going to the early 80s. I need to throw that in. The New York Islanders at that time, New York was the place, especially like you talk about soccer and hockey. It's the basketball, we was all right. And then also that I forgot the Yankees. We was Yankees winning titles too. So New York at that time, the mid 70s, going to the 80s and stuff, New York was the place. We was like title town. And nobody never gave them credit and stuff, the New York Arrows. They won 4 cups indoor. It was unstoppable. They was like people was international wanting to come to the Arrows. And they was winning big. They was beating teams like 10-2, 11-3. I remember they beat a team one time like 15-1. They was scoring. They was like, and then people was like, oh, anybody could do it. No, it was hard. They had good teams in indoor soccer, but they was beating teams like crazy. And by Pele, spirit, that's how that happened. Okay, so people need to recognize the sport. That I think the only thing that I sad about of the indoor soccer, I don't think there was hardly none of us playing there. and stuff. That's what I. That's the one that I didn't really like about that. So, but I remember I used to watch them when I was a teenager. You know, and maybe one day I'll probably do. I'm talking about a sports talk. I'll probably talk about the New York Arrows. You know, so so this is a and and also too, Pele was one of the few young players that scored most goals in soccer history. They call it football, but in World Cup history. That I believe that it still stands to today. So there's a person that helped took soccer to the next level because when he first started soccer, it was not known, especially like when we played it. I'm talking about in South America. Everybody knew like it was white people was playing it, but when they was playing it, our people was playing it, we was not really accepted. And and Brazil was like the team of World Cup was something like let me see what team I can name. Like something like I'd say something like Alabama was winning. They was winning cups. Also, they was winning championships. There was different names for it, but they was winning championships. And then when the other ones retired, back in like towards the end of the 60s, then another group place came from Brazil, and they even won cups then. So this is I know it's not that sexy to really think about it and everything, but this is something that we need to recognize. You know, this is something that this is something so that we need to recognize the the history and put some respect on it because Pele had helped us as black people us as melanin people to play the sport, and Pele helped that. No. And so I think a lot more soccer players should look in and talk about Pele. I don't think that it should this history should not be dismissed. That's the rest of society want to um and it is very important. So um I'm gonna say a few last things. I'm gonna give it to She Stay Sleep. And but my thing is that this history was not it was less than 100 years old, family. And despite he had shortcomings that I read, but you can never take away of his talent and what soccer means to this world to even right now. And also let me put this in too. When I was naming Malid and all that y'all see on TV, he as a teenager he was beating them. And at that time they was like legends, like in England. And to this day too. Now they global, you know. And so he was beating up. Even he was getting beaten up. Even in his twilight career too. So let's put some respect of what his playing has stand for. So last marks, my brother.
Well, I want to say shout out to everybody in the chat. First of all, um definitely if you're a child or anybody in your family is looking to be a soccer player, this should be somebody you definitely should look into. Um and he should give you some inspiration because he definitely was one of the greatest soccer players, and even to this day in the World Cup, because my father-in-law, he watched soccer, and because he's from Costa Rica,
Mhm.
so he watched soccer. And Brazil is still to this day a contender
Mhm.
in like soccer playoffs and shit like that. So
Mhm.
definitely look into this guy, do your history, and hopefully you could grab some motivation from this story. So shout out to everybody, and thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Oh yeah, and one thing too that I believe in 2010 he was in the front office of the New York Cosmos too. When they trying to bring back the league, I don't know how the league is right now. I didn't really, but I forgot about that, so I need to throw that in too. He was a front office. I think he was a president or a man. I don't know, but I know he was like head of the front office in 2010 for the New York Cosmos. I need to throw that in. Um, I'm not gonna be there long and everything, and but this is something that I want to read about. Me, she stay sleeping, and as I know, it sound boring, but just the bigger picture. Um, think about what what his ability that lies right now that we find quite a few us as a people that started to love soccer and stuff. So shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you, Alberta Council, to do that. To look out and Loso and everybody. I'm talking about my Doom Shotters. You know who you are, and everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. And sub to my brother. She stays sleep. All right. And all I can say, it's gonna be a good one next week. And then just let's get them likes up on this. All right, come on, let's get them likes up on this. Share this. Share the this stream. Share it. All right, let's get them likes up. And thanks for your constant support. Me and she stay sleep. We are humble, but thanks for your constant support. And on that note, we are ghosts.